Hello there, Sydney here, and welcome to the Drunken Ork. So for this week's video, what I thought we'd do is a bit of a showcase on my HQ slots. I've got a few models here I'd like to show you. I'm looking down here because they are down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 in total. To be fair, 2 of them are elite options, but I think they fit in quite well with the HQ slot on a whole, so I'm just gonna bung them in. There's about 4 Warbosses, my custom mech, a weird boy, a painboy. I think it'll be quite a treat. It's quite a rare model and not many people have seen. And, you know, a few odds and sods. So I'm going to pop them in the light box, which is there, the box of light, down by my left. And we'll change the camera view and have a look at them. And, yeah, I hope you enjoy them. Thanks very much. Okay, here's the first one. Orky, here's the first one even. He is an elite, so Nobz with a Waaagh banner, but he does fit in with the command group, so I'm including him in this because otherwise I've only got 7. Kill chopper, big chopper, chopped down a bit so it's not so big, and then just with some boss pulls added, some trophies and what have you. Give him a power claw. He looks like he's got a bit of a butcher's apron on, doesn't he? And on his back he's got another big chopper. And I used a bit of green stuff to make a strap there. I thought it was pretty good. I was quite pleased with it. It was probably the first bit of green stuff work I'd done. But after I'd made it, I then held it like that to do something else. I can't remember what now. When I turned it around, it was squashed. And I just painted it. I thought it'll do. But anyway, yeah. Like I say, really he's an elite, but I'm including him in my HQ vid. So there you go. Goth Knob with Waaagh banner. Now this next elite, he's a very rare one. You probably haven't got about 4 of them. It's a painboy. He's one from the Star Collecting set. You can buy him separately. If you do, you want your fucking head examined. I don't like this model. I think he's 15 quid on his own, which is tantamount to daylight robbery as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of things I don't like about him. I don't like if you turn around you might be able to see, but his bionic leg, I think it's daft. I think it's small and pathetic. I think it's meant to be scissors or something, I'm not sure, but I don't like it. I don't like, you can see from the back there, the shape. He's got the same body type as, I'm not shaming here, but is the Nob from the boys kit, with a big triangular, upside down triangle sort of torso, and little diddy, you know, stumpy legs. Don't like that. I don't like his face, his stupid face. Smug. Look at him. Don't like that. I don't like the fact he's just looking off to the side. That's daft. I quite like his power claw, to be fair, with all the implements on. I think that's cool. I don't like this pipe. I thought they were teeth at first, but I think they're meant to be sort of just little blades. But I don't like them anyway. It's got that unnatural hang to the pipe. A bit similar, but admittedly not as bad as the weird boy with the angular chain. I don't like that. And I don't like this, if you can see him, I'm not going to focus, the little grot on his back. Look at that, he's got Ken Dodd teeth. If you don't know who Ken Dodd is, look him up on the internet. That'll take you 5 hours. I just don't like this model. I don't like the fact that for every Start Collecting box I buy, and I do think that's a good box, I think is it about £55, but you third party it for 44. So you get your Dreadnought, your Death, excuse me, your Death Dread. You get a set of boys, you get a set of Nobz. All decent kits. I like all 3 of them, and then I stick this in, this little rubbishness. And your first thought, if you're naive like I was, is, oh, I'll flog him, 15 quid. I'll get a tenner for him. Well, that bollocks. Everybody's got loads of them, and you can't. It's just so monopose. If you hear people complaining about monopose models, and you think, well, I don't see what all the fuss is about, get 4 of these and try and do something with them. Then you'll know. I mean, I'm still trying to do something. I'm sure I can turn the head round somewhere, stick it, or at least just chop it off and stick a different head on. But I don't know what else I'll do with it. If I manage anything, I'll show you. But yeah, anyway, that's the last of the elite. But I've included him because he's a classic, as in the painboy, is a classic odd boy, and it segues nicely into my next odd boy, who is a big mech with a custom force field. this particular one I call Leonard Ork da Vinci, and he is the physical embodiment of all the conversions and daft things I knock up. He's Death Skull inventor. Most of me also Death Skulls, to be fair, like. But Leonard Ork da Vinci because he's got a big old pincer from a Death Dread, and also he pinches things because he's a thieving Death Skull git. He's also got a custom Mega Blaster. I've put a little dot in the. I like putting a little dot in the one eye skull, just have it like glancing off to the side. Done it on the warband as well, if you noticed. If you didn't, it doesn't matter. And with him as well, I've done a little green stuff Tash and beard. It's a little bit full, you know, facial hair wise compared to old Leonardo da Vinci. He was a bit more wispy from the pictures on Google, but this fella's more, you know, he looks like Orange County Choppers or something like that. But, you know, I like it. And I give him a little hat. A little, one of them little saggy cloth hats. That's the one, the Renaissance, don't you know. But yeah, that's him. That's Leonard Ork da Vinci with all his bits and bobs. I'll get a quick look at the back there. I'll tell you what else I've done with him, which I think is quite a common thing. I stuck some plastic card under his feet to give him a height advantage over lesser Mega Nobz. And also, I don't know if it shows, but I stuck it between his arms and he's in the box just to bulk him out a bit, sort of, you know, width-wise as well. Give him some extra girth. Yeah. So anyway, Leonard Ork da Vinci, nice. Got a lot of comments off him on the out interwebs, and he made it onto that Warhammer Community TV thing on Twitch, which was nice. But anyway, there we go. You can run him as your war boss or just as a, well, big metal custom force field. Got another odd boy. This is my first weird boy. You see a little bit out of focus there. Put my hand there. Oh, it does work. Look at that. It's not all rumours. So yeah, this is the RTLW Tech Shaman, I think he's called, or something similar like that. I've done a unboxing for him. So I finally got around to painting them just recently. Again, Death Skulls, having a dance around. It's a good model, this. I really like this model. I live in constant fear, even when I'm asleep, that this little fucking flexy bit of resin is going to catch on something like a dust mote or maybe a passing moth. Will clatter into it and snap it clean off because it doesn't seem very strong. And it's so thin I couldn't pin it. I didn't have to pin it, but I considered trying to get a pin up through it, through his hand into the top bit, but then I just disregarded that as a stupid idea. But when painting, things I did notice about RTLW miniatures, which I'd never noticed before, I've only got two, is they've only got 3 fingers and a thumb, depending if you're one of those people that says that is 5 fingers or 4 fingers and a thumb. I don't really want to get into it, but he's only got 3 fingers. He's a digit short, which means they're probably banned in Japan because they portray the Yakuza. At least that's what I heard about Postman Pat once. But yeah, I think it's a cool model, and until I painted him I never realised he's only had 1 sandal and 1 boot on. Mismatched footwear. That is weird. But yeah, that is a quality little model, that. Well worth the money. Nice one. Just noticed there's a bit of a glare on here, but hopefully it's not too distracting when the stuff's in front of it. But this is another HQ slot. I don't know if I'll ever even run him. It's Makari. So you know what else is coming up. There he is, little grot. Until recently the only grot I'd ever painted. Well, in the last, this millennia. There's not much you can say about him really. You're all familiar with Makari. He's a little fella. Never wear the shirts, do the grots? What's up with them? Yeah, I just think you only get the 3 HQ slots in say a battalion, and I just from looking at the army lists, and I just think there's better things to spend your points on than, you know, a little fella like him, bless him. But I'm showing him anyway because I've got him, and like I say, there's not many. So, if he's here, his mate must be knocking around. There we go. There's a big lad. Gazgul, yeah, I'm not going to bother putting my hand behind him. You wouldn't even say it. So, Gazgul Mag Uruk Thraka, I believe. I've got to be honest, I got him, and I got him for my birthday. And I was putting them together, I was thinking, oh, I can't really bother to paint him. He's a bit, you know, it wasn't that I wasn't impressed. I just didn't think I would enjoy painting him. But when I actually got around to doing it, I really did. I mean, I might have took a few shortcuts if we're spinning round. You see, his back is mostly black, with just the odd bit of silver and wire and copper and what have you picked out, but it's mostly black. I know he is normally mostly black, so you know, and I didn't exactly deviate far from the box. I didn't copy off it. I don't know how exactly it is, but I just, you know, knew it was black, and I put some red on and some checks, and that was it. And I went copper for the claw instead of steel. And I stuck a few shooter barrels on his Mork's Raw just to, well, make it look a little bit different. But yeah, he's a big lad, and I think he's quite good in the game at the minute, although I've never actually used him. He does look impressive. And loads of people who shoot at him because he's muckle. Yeah, not the only goth I've got, Warboss wise. There's him as well. The little lad. I mean, he's massive really, compared to normal orcs and even Nobz, but compared to guys, he's not that big. Gruk. Now, there were some rules out for him, and they look pretty tasty, to be honest. So, I don't know what they're going to do with them, if they're going to keep them knocking about, or if it is just for whatever it was, narrative play or whatever they call it. I don't know, but the model itself, I think the model's wicked. He's got all the loadout you need. It's a gruesome looking claw, that. It's very nice. The fingers, the whirly bits. Pipe. I like the fact it's just got some pipe. You're going to like I think it's a power supply. You're going to probably fit about 3 AA's in there. Nice shootout with some rockets. And on the back, stick bombs and more sluggers. Now, I didn't have the Black Reach kit. It was before my time, so to speak. I'm just that young. But the knob in there is very similar, yet still different. I think he's got a slightly different pose, slightly different. Like, you can see his arms are sort of angled in slightly. I think the other one might be more just on a horizontal field. But whatever. If it is a bit of a rip off, I didn't have the other one, so I don't care. I like Gruk. I like him, and I'll just use him as a the knob, the boss knob in the Nobz unit, because he's, like I say, I think it's a wicked model. It'd be a shame not to use it. So out of the 4 Warbosses I've got 2 goth, or 2 painted as goths, and 2 painted as Death Skulls, and this is the first of the 2 Death Skull ones. He's out of focus. Get in, son. This is the other RTL W Mini in my collection. The Iron Boss, and I got him quite a while. Well, I say quite a while ago. It was early 2020. It was one of the first ones I got. To be fair, I just saw him and I thought, oh, he looks massive. I want him. This was before Gaz was out, and I still think he's awesome. I still rate him above Gaz, to be totally honest. He's got a chopper, or big chopper, depend. I mean, it's quite big even for him, I suppose. He's also got the power claw. He's got a couple of shooters on top of the power claw. He's got a flamer underneath, or a scorcher underneath. He's got rockets up there on the skull on top. There was an option of loadouts for the skull. From top. One was the skull with a mouth chocker block full of rockets, and the other one was a little grot gunner, which I used as the crotch gunner on my Morkanaut. So if you have a look for that in some of these videos, you'll see I think it's called something like Gorkanaut or something in the video, but it's a big Bad Moons Gorkanaut built out of a rhino hull, and he's got a little grot on a shooter on his crotch, and that was one of the options for the top. And actually the arm, I went for the fleshy arm because there was a lot of blue on it, and I wanted to make sure there was some other different colour. And the other option was a robotic arm, and actually the robotic arm, I used as the lower right arm for the Judge Death Dread. I did, because it was too big to put in a normal Ork, and I needed an arm which was built at a right angle to hold onto a handlebar on the outrider bike. So it was ideal for that. So there's the other option, arm and turret. Can you have a turret if you're just a big gadget? Well, yes. So yeah, a couple of options. Oh, there was a hammer as well. Instead of an axe head, you could have just a big sort of hammer. And I just thought I'd put the axe on because axes are a classic. But you know, even now, some days I look back and think, should I have gone with a hammer? Especially after reading Brutal Cunning with the Snaz hammer. But you know what, I didn't, so it doesn't matter. Would that pass for Centurion armor, do you think? Nah, bollocks. Right, so that's me Death Skull. Oh, I'll tell you what, when I first bought him, or when Gaz first came out, I wanted to know, or just before Gaz came out, what they were like side by side. So, there you go. No, I actually got them all there. There you go, the Iron Boss and Gaz Skull side by side. There's not a lot in it, but sheer, like height wise anyway, but sheer bulk wise, I think Gaz easily tips the scales, to be fair. Although Gaz has stood up pretty much erect there, whereas the Iron Boss is in a bit of a lunge. So I think if he stood up straight, he'd take it. And I think he just looks bigger altogether. That looks like he's in a shell. If he climbed out of that armour, Gaz, the armour would just still start. If there was a back door you could nip out, pop to the lavvy, go and get some vines, and his armour would stand there. People wouldn't know he was gone, because you can't see his head from any distance anyway. And that'd be fine. Whereas he cut out of his armour, it would just fall to the ground. And look at it, it's mostly pants around the legs. Oh, did you see that bit of subtle conversion work? Death Skull's shield there, stuck on. I think hard conversion, if you like. But anyway, yeah, so that's him side by side. You make your own decision which one you like. But I will say I put him on a bigger base than he came with. I think he's on a 60 and he came with a 50. But he fills that quite well, doesn't he? I don't think that was unreasonable, scaling up his base size a little bit. Anyway, yeah. Then my two big war bosses. And finally, my last war boss, which I just finished quite recently, this year anyway, 2021, is a Death Skull war boss on a war bike. It was the Outrider bike. I had 3 of them. I put a Death Dread on one of them, a Salamander with a hammer on another, and an Ork on the third. He's a normal knob. From the the unit Nobz kit. He just seemed to fit on it quite well. I had to build some little extensions to the foot plates just to meet that foot, and if you have a look at that extension there, a little bit of bar coming along, then have a look at this one, you see it's totally different. That one's much longer, it's at a much higher angle, but you know, you didn't look at both sides at the same time, and it's quite unnoticeable. I'm not bothered anyway. Couple of Death Dread big shooters, Death Dread chin plate, target, killer claw, made from choppers, bigger thumb claws, and I think that's off the Death Dread. There's a claw with a couple of little chainsaw blades on it. That's one of them cut in half to make those two. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward really. Chains on there to hide an ugly join, mega knob head, dead easy. On I repositioned the exhaust as well, just, you know, because there's an ugly joint there as well, but his feet are covering it, so it doesn't matter. You see, if you can't see it, don't worry about it. I don't know if it's just showing up very well. I don't know what the light's like here, but it's heavily weathered. Most of my vehicles tend to be heavily weathered, and then the Orks on them or in them look spick and span. I suppose you've got to have a style, haven't you? But yeah. Ork Waaagh on Warbike. There you go then. They're me HQ slots. I mean, I've got 7. There's not loads. I'm sure there's people out there going 7. I've got thousands and thousands, and you probably have, to be fair. I've not been doing this very long, but I think the thing that gets me goat a bit is I've got 7, and that's 4 more than I can have in a battalion. So you're going to start cutting them out already, and I still haven't painted me big shock attack gun, shock attack gun, big mech, yeah, that one. I still haven't painted that, and also I've got this fella. Can I get him in focus? It would appear not. Ta-da! You think he was fucking purple, wouldn't you? Anyway, you get the idea. Wasn't clued on. He's from Hardcore Minis, by the way. I'll do him when I'll put a video up of him when I get him painted. I'll do him as a Bad Moon, I think. He's quite shooty. I tend to paint my shooty units as Bad Moons, my crumpy units as Goths, and virtually everything else, vehicles and what have you, as Death Skulls. Well, I do have a Evil Sun's Battle Wagon. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so you can't fit them all in, so you've got to sort of make your sacrifices, which is a bit of a shame. For my next video, I think I'm going to do a work in progress on a battle fortress I've been working on, changing a Bane blade, orkifying it up. I've done a bit of work on it already, so I might as well have like a where I'm up to now, and then I've still got a bit of work to go, to be fair. Then you've got to paint the bloody thing, haven't you? So that's a bit of an undertaking. So yeah, I think I'll do that next. But for now, that's it. Please hit like, please subscribe if you haven't already, and why not share it? Spread the love, wouldn't that be nice? Other than that, thanks very much for your time. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.